the gravity of it didn't really hit me.
I came to again and I heard her screaming, "Chance, are you joking? Are you joking?"
I do always imagine what if.
Because I thought the day I left I'd be coming home.
I'm in a wheelchair because people saved my life.
As with so many topics in life, we feel a bit awkward about asking certain things, Kath, and I feel, this forum, this video that we're sort of producing today and what everyone's going to watch will just give us a bit of an opportunity to look at some of those taboo subjects, and I just hope everyone's a little bit more aware about the troubles and the daily grind and challenges that people with a spinal cord injury face.
And to be more aware in the future of these things.
Absolutely, yeah. I hope you enjoy watching this.
You can't ask that.
Mate, gonna hit you straight between the eyeballs, mate. Why are you in a wheelchair?
Yeah, so I'm in a chair because I did one stupid decision and did a dive off a jetty without checking the depth of the water.
Look, I had an accident. I had an accident that could have happened to anyone. I was out surfing on a Friday afternoon, and next thing I know, I woke up on a Wednesday with a tube down my throat and my wife next to me.
I'd done that same dive probably at least half a dozen times before.
In an underground coal mine, and there was like just some explosion, and I got hit in the head by a projectile, and it had a hard hat on, but it blew it up and then degloved my head, and from here all the way back there and took the top of my head off, and then jolted and broke my neck.
We were halfway to our holiday destination at Evans Head up on the north coast, and we had a head-on collision with an oncoming car. So I broke my back in a few different places, had some internal injuries, but the real kicker for me was that I damaged my spinal cord. So I'm a T12 complete paraplegic.
They found that I'd had a herniated disc that had calcified and was stuck to my spinal cord, so I had to have surgery. And then I walked into surgery, however I didn't walk out of surgery.
Well, that's a bit shit.
Yeah, very shit. And then ended up in hospital for 8 months.
I dove in the pool and I don't know whether I clipped a step or what happened, but I hit my head and stuck my head to the side.
Yeah, wow.
And then passed out at the bottom, and I came to and I was floating at the bottom and I could see my sister's legs. And then I must have passed out. I came to again and I heard her screaming, "Chance, are you joking? Are you joking?"
So 2015, it was actually the grand final of rugby union, playing for Maitland second grade. Had a collapse scrums, sort of thing that would happen, multiple times a game. Played for 15 years since I was 12. And collapse scrum, and that was that. Spinal cord injury, C4 incomplete, ICU, bit of a stay there, and then the rehab, and everything that followed from there.
Has anyone ever said that you're an inspiration in the wheelchair?
Sometimes, yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I don't want this really, but you just dealt that card and get on with it, don't you?
I'm just trying to survive. What's inspiring you? The fact that I've put up a photo or a video of me doing a bit of walking at the gym, or that you've actually spent some time with me and understand really what I'm going through, really how much pain and discomfort and everything that goes into being a gentleman with a spinal injury. That, if you turn around and said, gee, that's inspiring, I'd appreciate that. But yeah, it really depends on the context, mate.
It's a cliche thing. Oh, you're an inspiration. What am I going to do? Like, stay in my room?
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I'm grateful but it's just a cliche thing to say.
Oh, look, I think if it's about, my attitude or achievements, then that's a nice thing to say, but it can be a bit embarrassing, because if it's just like getting up and getting on with doing normal things that everyone else does, it's a bit patronising. But I think it comes from a good place and it's well intended, but it just feels a bit like Nothing's changed except that I'm in a wheelchair now, and now I'm inspiring.
You go into a restaurant or a shop, access is crap. Do you speak up?
Yeah, I'll give feedback because I more think about it for other people, because, you know, what we're trying to do with Stronger Together is make it better for everyone in the community. So
Yeah.
I figure me being there and, you know, seeing it firsthand, it's generally people just are unaware. It's not by that they're doing it purposely. They just don't know someone affected by it, or it hasn't been, you know, something that they've had to need to worry about.
Are most people receptive and sort of will implement change?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I sent an email to Coles for their car park in the junction, and the speed hump as you come down the ramp was on the wrong angle, and they had it rectified within a week.
Wow.
Oh, I do, yeah. I think I try and be respectful as I can, but like I've been to you know, subways and things like that where they have one step at the entrance and it costs $150 for a ramp, and all of a sudden your restaurant's you know, accessible. And yeah, I try to speak up because, you know, they may, half of it's probably about awareness. They may not
Absolutely.
think of it. So you know, it only takes one conversation, and hopefully, you know, the business owners kind of make that change.
Just for everyone watching, how do you go to the toilet?
I self-catheterize, so I have a 14 centimetre, I call it a straw because it just looks like a straw, a 14 centimetre little tube, and I pop it in. I often say that I feel it's less invasive than using a tampon. I just let my bladder drain, I whip it out, chuck it in the bin. It's a single-use thing. Number twos, I've had 35 years to perfect my routine, and when I first had my accident, I would sit on a commode for hours at a time.
You know, I self-catheter so that I could keep my independence, although it is, it's awkward because public disabled toilets are ridiculous. So that's another thing that stops me from going as many places as I normally would. And it's another skill you've got to learn. So you've done something your whole life and then you're like, oh crap, I can't even just go to the toilet normally like everybody else. So that's a challenge.
I have a permanent catheter inserted into my bladder, so called an SPC, and that's just a tube that goes straight into my bladder, and I keep it on my leg, and when I feel my bladder fill up, I get a little tingle and a spasm, and that's when I know I need to duck to the toilet pretty quickly. You've got a bit of a time frame to make it there before an accident, so
So we've spoken about number one. So number two, is that a bit of a process for you?
Yeah. Twos is that's a mission. That one early on in injury, it takes your body a fair while to learn a new routine and going to the toilet once a day, every morning.
Is it a myth that people in a wheelchair can't have sex?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can confirm.
totally. Yeah.
We definitely can.
Yes, it is. I enjoy a very healthy sex life.
Good to hear.
Yeah, I don't have any dramas in that department. I can't speak for the males who have spinal cord injuries. I don't know about that side of things. I hear that there are things they can do to, you know, float their boat.
You can get it up for a while, but then just, you know, your limited sensation.
With ejaculating, I've heard some guys can get an erection but can't ejaculate. Do you ever need to use any sort of implements or tools that you?
Yeah, I've got the vibrator.
What do you got to do with that?
You just like clamp it on there like a set of tongs and away you go.
Do you dream where you're walking completely able-bodied?
I had this conversation today on the way down from Byron, and I always dream able-bodied.
99% of the time. I'm
Really?
dreaming walking, yeah. 99%.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Does it happen all the time?
Well, in all my dreams, I'm walking. I've never been in a chair in one of my dreams. I know. Yeah.
And when you wake up in the morning,
It's like, damn it. Yeah. I just want to go back to sleep.
what do you think when you wake up to those sort of dreams?
Yeah, it's weird. It's such a tease because you're like, I could do it so easily in the dream.
Yeah.
All my friends dream me walking all the time too.
Wow. So that's 7 from 7 people say they dream that they can actually walk, not
I
dream
don't know
about
if I've
walking.
ever had a dream in the wheelchair.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say probably 95% of my dreams are walking.
What is the most cringe thing someone has said to you since being in a chair?
It was basically just said to me, I won't say how, but it was, well, I'm spinal too, you know, from someone that's standing up walking who had a bad back. And I'm like, are you serious right now?
A lady said to me, oh, I'm so tired. I wish I had one of them to sit down on. And then my friend that was, we said, I'd love to respond, what is it you'd like? The 24-hour nerve pain or someone sticking an enema in your ass every day?
Literally had a mate who's having a bit of knee problem and needs a knee reconstruction, a bit of chronic pain going on for him. And he was in the dumps and he was, you know, his mental health wasn't great. In that conversation, you know, he looked at me and said, I get that you're in a wheelchair, mate, but you wouldn't have any pain, so you've got no idea what I'm dealing with. And I was at there and then had to unpack with him neuropathic pain, you know, the constant feeling of being on fire.
I've had a few people have go at me just in parking spots. That's probably one, saying, oh, like you can't park there. But and I'm like, oh, I'm quadriplegic, and the lady goes, yeah, sure you are. If anything, you'd be a paraplegic. And they said, oh, so are you giving it, you know, a diagnosis?
If you were to regain your function, were able to walk again, like what would be one of the first things that you would want to do?
The first thing probably run into the beach and jump into the water.
Oh, it'd be going and watching the sunrise with the family and walking on the beach.
Probably say go, maybe skiing with Twiggy, because my daughter Twiggy wants to go, she's always wanted to go skiing. I'd probably go skiing with her.
Oh, I'd walk on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
Yep. Or just go for a swim normally.
Give the wife a big hug,
Yeah.
pick the kids up. Yeah.
Things we take for granted, eh?
Yeah, pick the boys up, pick both boys up at the same time, wrestle with the boys, kick a soccer ball with the boys. Giving Lani a big hug would be right up there though.
I just want to be able to stand. I don't want to go running and playing football, you know. I just want to not need to hoist. I just want to stand up and sit down, and then, you know, just little things.
How's this spinal cord injury impacted your mental health, Jack?
First 2 years are up the shitter.
In what way?
Oh, it's like losing my identity. You know, I was playing footy, surfing, mountain bike riding, looking at maybe having some kids, and then that happened and I kind of lost everything.
I used to be a lot more positive.
There's things you'll never get back that you can't replicate, and you mourn those moments pretty much daily, but then you do try to focus, or I at least try to focus on what I can do.